Hello there, I'm Camille.
And I'm Gretchen. Welcome back to Starting Over Podcast. We're glad y'all are here.
Yeah, and we are talking today about starting over and when you know it's time to leave. So if you've been in a relationship for a while and you've got some things going on, here's a list of when you know it's time to leave. And I got to get my bifocals on. Sorry, I got to read. Here's one. Let's see.
Don't ask me to read. I don't have glasses on.
I'll share them. It's time to leave when they think you're arguing every time you express your emotion or opinion.
I mean, have y'all been in that situation where you literally feel, it feels frustrating where you're trying to express?
Yes.
You're trying to express something and they keep turning it to be like,
it's your fault.
It's your fault.
Well,
you're crazy or,
Well, and what you'll hear maybe is, oh, you're so sensitive. I was just kidding. Or why are you taking it that way? Or, oh, here we go again, ruining my day. Some people have told me these things.
So when you try to express your feelings on something, it's now all of a sudden, they're the victim and you have ruined a situation.
You're ruining my day. Yeah.
So granted, keep in mind, we're not talking like this is the first time you've heard this now. We're saying it's time to leave. We're actually not telling you when to leave anybody, but we're just saying, here's a list of patterns.
That's right.
That you may want to think about, like, do I want to still put up with this?
Right. Well, and if every time you try to bring up concern or some sort of worry or something about the relationship, and it's like, oh, do we have to talk about this really? And they're put out, or you're in trouble. They're mad at you. It's like, why are you bringing this stuff up? And they don't understand it. They don't hear your feelings. Another time to walk away moment is they don't seek to listen to understand. They're not trying to understand you anymore. They don't care. They will project, you're this, you're that.
Oh, I know we've all had those conversations where it's, oh, you think I did that? Or remember the time you did this?
Oh, yeah.
Remember? I mean, even like parental conversations can be, I've heard people say over the years, like, oh my gosh, they bring up stuff I did when I was 6 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Or if people become very defensive.
Yes.
Right off the bat. Maybe your part of the conversation isn't anything that they need to be defensive about, but that's their reaction.
That's right. Well, and if they aren't listening, they don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it. Because you may be right about something and you might be calling them out on something. They aren't going to be held accountable by you. Mm-hmm. They shame you when you speak your heart and your mind.
Why are you so sensitive?
Right.
Why do you always take things so seriously?
Right.
Why is this always about you?
Yeah. Very good.
By the way, I'm not talking to y'all. I'm just repeating what Cookie said.
Yeah, we're reliving and we have memories.
We're acting it out. How's that?
That's right. They gaslight, stonewall, or manipulate you. You're too sensitive. You're overthinking it. It's always something with you. You heard that before?
So you don't have any validity in what you feel or what you say.
Yeah.
Or it's the fact that, like, why is that bothering you? It doesn't bother me. Why are you so upset about this? Yeah. So you don't have any validation that your feelings matter.
Correct. Well, and that's what it is it's almost like, I don't want to let you in. I don't want to hear what you got going on. I don't want you to tell me. I don't want to hear your feelings. Like they're insensitive. They are indifferent to your presence in their life, and they leave you feeling that any disagreement you have could be the last or the end of the relationship.
Oh, it's a threat.
Yes. And I had this week. I had this cute high schooler, cute girl, young relationship, but he's kind of fooling around with other girls. And I said, but you're still letting him fool around with you? And she says, well, I don't want to lose him. I said, honey, you don't have him.
Did.
You don't have him, honey. And I said, if you don't teach him that he doesn't get to do that. I said, are you okay with it? No. Well, then you got to talk to him. And I said, I need to end it. But she's terrified to end it because she's going to lose him. Mm-hmm. That's what she thinks. And he's a punisher. He's going to, punish her. Now, he's young.
Right. But you guys know that there are adults much farther along in life that it's the same pattern.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the same pattern. And I think sometimes, at least in some marriages, it can also be kind of dangled over your head. Well, you know what? If you leave, you're walking away from all of this and you're never going to get, especially from a female's point of view, it's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of my kids? How am I going to do it? Yeah. And so the behavior tends to be like it's a sabotage.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It is time to walk away when they are unwilling to show empathy when you're vulnerable. So if you're crying and they're cold, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to listen. It's time to walk away when...
Which, by the way, before you go to this next one, have you ever been in a situation where, maybe somebody's crying in the bed and the other one never tries to communicate, like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
What comfort, something?
Yeah.
They just go about like, I'm just going to fall asleep or whatever, and that person's really sad.
Yeah.
I think that's a sign of what you're talking about.
Yes, there's an indifference. No matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter to them. Yeah. It's time to leave or walk away or start over when they dismiss, minimize, or invalidate your feelings.
Minimize.
Yeah.
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 It's not that big of a deal. I said I was sorry.
Right.
Yeah, they demand forgiveness. Yeah. I'm not going through this again. We're not talking about this again. I've already said I'm sorry enough, Yeah. It's time to walk away when they are hurting you more than helping you or healing you.
Do you ever feel sometimes y'all like you don't have a partner?
Like
You don't have a confidant. You don't have that person in your life that you feel like is there for you, and instead you feel like in order to keep peace you have to do certain rules or you have to do certain things.
Yeah.
I think that's when relationships drift dramatically, and it's really hard to trust. I think sometimes people think trust is all about, are you having sex with somebody else? But trusting your feelings and trusting your heart and trusting your language and your vocabulary and, the spiritual sense of you, whatever it is, encompasses a lot of things. And if you don't feel safe in a way that you can share that with somebody
and be yourself,
you don't have the trust.
In every relationship in the beginning, it's kind of like, don't you just want to tell everything to them and share everything and tell your story? Because they do have empathy, they do care. But if you're dealing with someone who is narcissistic, and that's overused word right now. But if you're dealing with someone who is narcissistic, in the beginning it will feel amazing. When you are the object of their desire and they have to have you and you can do no wrong and they want to hear everything and they want to be there for everything. It really is like love bombing. That's what that is. And so here's where I think people get really bamboozled. They kind of feel like, am I crazy? Is something wrong with me? And so in the beginning it was amazing. And then the devaluing starts where this kind of stuff happens. They're dismissive. They don't care. And you're like, well, that was not you.
What happened? Where'd you go? Or where did... Yeah.
And then the discard, which is, again, you get replaced. So it's interesting how in the beginning of a relationship, and I'm not saying that everyone's narcissistic, they're kind of doing this kind of stuff. But again, it's time to leave if you really, really don't matter.
Yeah, because you have to say to yourself, why don't I matter?
Yeah.
There's an analogy that Camille and we use sometimes, in that if you have a glass and it's half full of water, it's not up to somebody else's. It's not up to them to fill the rest up.
No.
It's up to you.
That's right.
To fill all of your cup. And then anything that runs over, that's what you give to somebody else. Because when somebody treats you like this and you don't like how it feels, your glass is already full.
Yeah.
You can rely on your own, your own self-worth, that you don't have to sit there and be that victim of somebody that doesn't want to give to you.
Yeah.
I think you said something important, that narcissists, they come in a lot of flavors. It's not a one size fits all.
Right.
It's the characteristics are the same. Once you understand what they are like, you can kind of decipher how is it being presented. But these characteristics, basically it's saying you don't matter.
Yep.
I'm going to minimize what you're saying. You always, think about when people use those words, always and never.
Yes.
That's a huge red flag,
yes.
Right?
That's right.
And that is also somebody that wants to make sure that you're in the wrong too.
Right. Well, and you're not going to hold me to account. You're not going to, rub that in my face. I'm not going to live like this the rest of my life. I mean, again, this just happened. I have one situation that this is a recent situation, and these couple got in a horrible fight, and instead of like owning, his part of it, and I'm not saying it's just all men, because women can be narcissistic too. It was basically how you said that to me, I take issue with. You're not going to talk to me that way. And so that's how they deflect off. Wait a minute, you were texting your ex-girlfriend. We're married. What's going on? So, well, you know what? You're not going to go through my phone. How dare you go through my phone?
Right.
Okay. So, and the woman's got an intuition that something's not right.
Right.
Something's not right. And I'll tell you the sign of a critical person, our sign of secrets is a critical person. So he's thrown out there, God, you're just being a bitch. Like this is something, what's wrong with you? And so she's like, nothing. I mean, I guess I'm moody. I don't know.
Right.
So she's now getting off balance and feeling like she's attacked and kind of criticized. So she's doubting herself. Well, why would he want her to doubt herself? Because she's feeling something's wrong here, and he's got a withhold. He's got a secret from her.
Which, by the way, for on the subject of women,
yes,
I think sometimes there are some men that love to say, what are you on your period? Why are you so emotional? Why are you so hard to live with? As if our intuition is discarded.
Yeah, it's dismissed.
Right?
Minimized.
And, it's minimized. And so don't ever look at your own beliefs and your own, intuition that there's something wrong with you. There's a reason why you have those feelings.
That's right.
And whether you put your finger on it or not, and this can go for men too, by the way.
Oh,
but I never like to hear like, what are you on your period? Because that is big. First of all, no, I'm 59. I don't have one anymore, so that's not going to work. But that is almost like that's
a shame.
That's
a shame. Yeah,
such a thumb on a woman. Like you don't have a right to have an opinion or to be upset or to have feelings or to share your feelings because you must be on your period.
Yeah, it must be. You're reduced to a body part. You're reduced to nothing's really real here. You're just emotional because instead of taking it on and leaning in and saying, okay, talk to me. I want to know how you feel. And look, I'll tell you, this is why women have affairs, y'all. Okay. Women have affairs, not for the penis. Okay. They have affairs because somebody's listening. They have a friend, okay, maybe a friend, and they find themselves in their arms because it was emotional air, and they get someone to listen, and they genuinely do care because maybe someone else doesn't care.
I think it's funny too. Sometimes you'll hear men be like, well, she had an affair with this guy. Look at him.
Right.
Look at him.
Right. Yeah.
Look
at me.
And
look at
to
him.
your point, it's probably like, well, I'm sure she wasn't actually maybe going for somebody to replace you that looks better. That wasn't the reason, of that.
And it's the empathy. Someone who empathizes and cares and listens and knows how to listen and genuinely is their friend. And maybe things got a little physical because that's what happens. But when a person's starving for somebody to validate or just understand or care about them, and that kind of stuff goes on for years.
Okay, so now we talked about like when to think about maybe leaving, and I really think the reason why we're talking about this is not to encourage everybody to just break up, but to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
like own your own feelings and know that, man, I do have something to say and it is important and I do have opinions and I do matter, right?
Yes.
And if you feel that you're in a place that there's just there's no respect, it's never going to, I shouldn't say never, but you feel at the moment like, man, this is a pattern. This has been going on for a while. Yeah. Okay, so what about people, they don't want to be done with each other, but they don't want to keep living like this.
Well, if every conversation and communication is probably the number one reason people seek help for therapy, by the way, okay, because they just can't communicate. Because every time you get a conversation, it turns into, well, remember when because they don't want each other to have power over them. It's a power play, so they don't want to be power played. So if you can't pull back and say, look, we're not going to go down that road. Let's just get out of the weeds. Let's just be direct. What are we doing? Do we want this here? You have to get to the place of truth. Like, what is the truth? And if you don't want to end the relationship, you got to both sides have to be honest and vulnerable again. In the beginning of the relationship, what was that like? It was vulnerable. It was honest,
Right.
So you have to get back to that place where you both feel heard. And if you never get there, there's no resolve. That person doesn't want to answer the truth questions because they probably don't want the relationship anymore. But they don't know how to say that, and they don't want to leave it because it's too good. There's benefits in staying, right?
You thinking about it too, going back to the glass and the water analogy. In the beginning, you think that person is filling oh my gosh, he or she is this and this and this and this. Oh, it's everything I ever wanted.
Right.
Well, then when the honeymoon phase is over, that glass goes right back down to where that water level was that you put in there.
When you met.
That's right. That's still your reservoir.
Yeah.
But now you let you let him or her come in and fill the rest up, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, oop, it's gone.
Yeah.
That's why you have to figure out how to fill it up yourself.
Yep.
And anything that's added is bonus.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think it's people that recognize, well, wait just a second. Like I'm somebody without you, but
Yep.
I want you in my life.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who's capable of loving myself without you loving me.
Yes.
But I want you to love me,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Absolutely. Well, and these people, if you're with someone who's narcissistic and they just have a hard time having empathy, it now is on you to make sure you are okay. And, maybe it's not always time to quit. I mean, we can quit sometimes we can't quit. There's situations and you'll be in harm's way if you quit. You have to put yourself first and kind of go, I don't think I'm crazy. The minute you feel like you're doubting yourself, that's an unhealthy person for you. And that could be bosses, that could be parents, that could be siblings. Someone wants you to fail and they want you to doubt yourself. If you doubt yourself, you're not going to get anywhere in life.
Yeah.
The minute you start going, am I okay? Like that confidence, when confidence is gone, you don't have your power. You don't have your power at all.
And I think you made a good point, y'all, in that this doesn't have to be a relationship as far as a lover, husband, wife, husband, whatever.
Yep. Partner.
Partner. This is anything.
Yes.
And I think those moments coming from a man or a woman, if you feel disrespected time and time again, it's because you are.
Yeah.
And how much do you want to live like that?
Right.
Because none of us deserve to be treated with disrespect, and on both sides, men and women, right? And if you have a situation where somebody is constantly browbeating you for something that happened a long time ago, or something you did or did not do, at some point in a mature relationship, that's got to be gone.
Yeah, you got to get past that.
Yeah, and if you can't get past it, that's when you go get professional help, because you need help communicating how to get through that.
Yeah. And if you can't, then it'll probably end. But when there's this dynamic happening, the most important thing is to not add fuel to that fire. Don't add oxygen to that fire, okay? So if you engage constantly and you're defending yourself over and over and over, look, that's the intention. As long as you're upside down defending yourself, like you have to defend yourself, right? Like there's something you've done wrong. That's the goal, is to make you doubt yourself and think you've done something wrong. So if you're doing this routinely, that's part of the problem, is you think that you're believing them. Now they've got you in a confused state. And I'll tell you something about addicts. If you're with an addict, they pick fights on purpose to break and then to go use. So, you have to look at what is the motive behind the constant gaslighting or accusation or whatever. And if you're always defending yourself from accusations, why would they want you to feel bad about yourself? What's the guilt trip about? And a lot of these kind of people are good master guilt trippers. So,
and if you want to kind of think about the narcissism of this, is whoever that person is that has those tendencies, they're not in favor of you.
No.
It's never about making this relationship better. It's never about, how can I grow? How can I help you?
Yeah.
It's never about, gosh, there's two sides to think about everything, and you do have a point, and let me take some time and really understand what you're saying or what you think. If you never feel that it's coming in that direction for you, you're with somebody that doesn't have the ability right now to meet your needs.
That's right.
Because it's all about, it's this tennis match.
Yes.
You did that. Well, you did this. Well, you did that. Well, you did this. And if you're not that narcissistic person, but you're talking to somebody that is, it's a game that is not going to end.
No. And it can make you feel like you're going crazy.
Yeah.
You're probably not the crazy one, okay? But you're caught up in some sort of illusion or some sort of distraction. And you're the one distracted from the truth. So figure out what the truth is and set yourself free.
Yeah. And especially for those of you that are working in an environment, maybe you have a boss or somebody that's of a higher position than you are, that's over you, that tends to make you feel or put you down, or, not give you the recognition that you in your job deserve. Kind of, look at all of that and make a decision at some point. How much do I want to put up with this?
Yeah.
How much do I really deserve? Because the bottom line, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in family, whether it's with the boss situation, whatever that might be, your feelings matter.
Yeah.
Their feelings matter. Everybody's feelings matter. You do have a voice.
Yep.
And you should never be shunned or put aside or made to feel bad for having feelings.
Yeah.
Having an opinion, I do get, and I understand, and you see this a lot. There are ways of communicating that you don't have to be horrible to somebody just because you have an opinion or because you have a feeling. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a relationship is two or more people.
Yes.
And so you have every right to feel and think and say in a loving way things that are constructive and things that will be helpful to the relationship.
Yeah, that's right. But both sides matter, and both sides should be able to vent and share their truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't tell the truth with the person you're with, who do you tell the truth to?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not trying to put a doom on you, but there are some things that you need to pay attention so that you know your worth. You need to pay attention so that you know that, wait a second, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right for a reason because I have intuition.
Yeah.
And my gut is telling me something's not right. So
and don't doubt that. Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all being here. We'll see you next time on Starting Over.
Bye-bye.